Good afternoon or good evening when this video reaches you from Yammy TV. Sending loads of love as usual. Now, questions coming up about the Northeast. If my memory serves me correctly, some of you give me a little jolt about names because you know Uncle Yammy's mind sometimes. But the hardest man, and he was on the front page in there, doing it regular. Uncle Yammy reports today that obviously Brian Cockrell said, no, go away, go. No, behave. Brian Yammy talks about Brian Cockerell. Obviously, the one thing that was in common with all those I met, they all called Brian's name from way back in the day. Now, I didn't do a lot of bird with Brian, if any at all, but the stories go back in ancient history. But anyway, one of my top ones of all time, I think he's from Darlington. I don't know whether loads of you have heard of him. I know loads have been to jail. I've met him because he's done the circuit everywhere on an IPP. They held on to him for years and years and years, and his name's Brian Solsby. He could have a row with anyone. I ain't seen a geezer, and this is when he's not at his best. He matches anyone. Many men from London all over the place, they rated this guy seriously highly. He went to Swellside, and a big name from Northwest London, Stourbridge, tried it onto him physically over some little depth thing, and he matched him physically all the way. It was a tough match, but in another day, if he would have been at his best, that's a victory, man. And that's a tough man he's rocking while he's not at his best, and most of his fights ended really quickly. So Uncle Yammy liked him. Good-hearted man, lovable soul, honest as well with himself, not a bully, good man as well, right? So yeah, I'll give that. Brian Solsby, Darlington, Middlesbrough, I can't remember which. Of course, we have to bring Lee Duffy into it, because everywhere I went, all I used to hear about is Lee Duffy. Lee Duffy, rest in peace, my boy. He died. He left us early in that life, sadly, which a lot of men did. You know, I mean, some don't get to make it this way. But without a shadow of a doubt, some of the stories that I've heard about Lee Duffy, everything ended quickly. So I'm beginning to wonder if actually anyone could have matched him that way, because all those that I met. But there was a guy in the Cat A's called Lee Cassidy, or something Cassidy. He was from Newcastle, Middlesbrough, or Darlington, round about the northeast somewhere. But this guy, man, imagine he hit a guy, right? He hit a guy, and this guy was undefeated for 20 years, right? He's from London, sad to say for us a lot. But he hit him and knocked him clean out. I saw the geezer down the block, and he was saying that this guy hit him with a weapon. And I kept saying to him, no, he never. He threw a punch, but he didn't want to understand. He said, no one can't knock me out, though. I said, but he did. And there was he didn't get over it, you know what I mean? And it was there forever. It was like he was in complete shock. And there was another man in the dinner queue in Full Sutton where he spun around and he knocked him clean out, and he never woke up either. But this guy was something really serious. I don't know about his history and all that kind of stuff, but if you're talking about the row, then I never saw a bigger puncher in my life than that, right? On top of that, Billy Charlton, Paul Webber, all of them, the one thing they used to talk about was Brian Cockrell. The one thing all of them, Brian and all of them used to talk about, that they had all of it in common, was that Brian Cockrell could swing a left and right way back in the day. And he had that natural ability to take people out with one shot. So that's what they say. You know what I mean? I can only go by what the Northeast is saying. But legendary status in the Cat A's, Uncle Yammy points to another dark horse. Many of you might not have heard of him. Maybe he's been away too long. He must have done 15, 20 deep now. But legendary hitman status, Chrissy Boyle. Uncle Yammy partnered up with him a couple of times. One time, lost some. But the one thing that was definite, any job that came up, this man never shied away from and got paid for his things. He had some mental health. He had to go certain places in the end. I don't know. He struggled to live with some of the things he'd done. You know, in the end, it makes you paranoid and all that. He put in a bloody shift, man. So if there's anyone that I've forgotten about, but him, Chrissy Ball weapons, and he could have a little row as well. Uncle Yammy says, you know, reliable for a bit of work. That life, you know, I have to point there to that as well, because many that were around in the Cat A's would agree with me as well. Say, Yammy, man, yeah, that's about right, man. Because wherever he goes, they quickly to reach onto him and say, bloody. Nice stuff with him as well. Real funny ones there. But Uncle Yammy reports that today, and some of you heard of, some of you ain't. But some of you would hear it. Some of you will know what I'm talking about. You will say, yeah, hold on, Yam, that's right. You know what I mean? And there was a boxer as well. He knocked someone out with one punch. I think he got manslaughter. I can't be sure. But he, again, would have been in that Cassidy league. If he hits you, you're out. But was he scared of weapons? You see what I mean? Because some could do that fist thing, but when you draw weapons, they're not really on it. Do you see what I mean? But yeah, if you remind me of his name, I think I'll be able to deal with it. But sending loads of love. Coming up more in a minute. More work. Loads of love.